to Miami's 5th NBA season, South Florida suddenly had more serious concerns. A Category 5 hurricane named Andrew was churning a path straight for Miami.
We expect that the storm is going to be in our neighborhood here.
We woke up on the morning of August 24th, and one whole section of South Dade no longer existed. It looked like someone dropped a bomb on the Homestead area.
I came from Kendall. I remember going out to where my in-laws were, where I had other family members, and huge gaping holes in roofs that you thought, oh my goodness.
When I lived on Key Biscayne, seeing the boats all on the road and seeing cars pretty much turned over.
Breaking glass, the roar of the wind, the absolute vertical flight of the rain coming into the house. It was a very surrealistic experience.
And I think there was a genuine sense that we need to do something.
The Miami Heat responded immediately after Hurricane Andrew, reaching out to those South Dade neighborhoods.
Not only did the Heat help in the community, Michael Jordan stepped up and we had a game raising money for it.
We did the We Will Rebuild game with the Chicago Bulls, and that game was established because of Billy Cunningham's relationship with the Bulls, but most importantly with Michael Jordan and Michael's endorsement of us playing that game.
Hopefully we don't have another natural disaster like this, but I think this is a great process to start rebuilding for the city of Miami.
It was a great night because basketball transcended more than just a game. It was a rallying point for the community. It raised money. I think it raised national awareness that there were areas down here that needed help.
We tried to do everything we could as a team. We got out into the community and try to rebuild the city and do whatever we could.
We are not a franchise just to come here and play ball and make money and everybody go their separate ways. We are entrenched in this community in more ways than people can imagine.
We are part of this community. This is our community. We live in it, and we're not going to let things like this separate us from that community. We're going to be more involved.
The 92-93 season brought some new faces to the Heat. Veteran forward John Sally was acquired in a draft day trade, and with the 12th pick, the Heat selected Harold Miner from USC. Miner, in his rookie season, would go on to win the 1993 Gatorade Slam Dunk Contest during NBA's All-Star Weekend.
Remember, All-Star Weekend, he owns it.
Unfortunately, the Heat did not make the 93 playoffs, ending the season with a disappointing 36-46 record.
There had been improvement every year until this year, and it was sort of our first step back.
The Heat responded with a giant step forward in the 93-94 season, improving to a season high of 42 wins, its first ever winning season, and its return to the playoffs.
Cycling, slams it home. Great move by Smith. Oh, what a play.
Unlike the first time we made the playoffs, where it took somebody else to get us into the playoffs, this year that team won their way in.
Miami, how do you like us now? The Heat are in the NBA playoffs, and they win their way in.
Miami would face the top-seeded Atlanta Hawks.
When we got matched up with the Hawks, we really thought that we could win that series.
We went up to Atlanta. They were the 1 seed, and we're the 8 seed, and we win that first game.
The biggest win in the history of the franchise. Their 4th playoff game, their first playoff win.
When you win that first one, you just have an automatic feeling of, okay, you can do it. You know, we've beaten this team. We can beat them. We're going to win this series.
There was a real intense mood for the fans and players going into that second game, and that's what sort of led to the fight.
I have never seen Grant Long this upset. The benches have emptied. You saw this thing brewing all through the 3rd quarter. A melee on the court at the Omni.
The big fight started between Grant Long and Dwayne Farrell and spilled all over the court, and it was your first taste of playoff intensity, and how much this mattered.
The league was at a breaking point where it was okay to be physical, but it was a line that you crossed, and that line was crossed.
I was actually defending my teammate, Lynn Rice. The game was sort of going or getting out of control. There were a few hard fouls that had took place.
We were kind of getting under the skin of the Atlanta Hawks. They were supposed to beat us easily.
The melee resulted in suspensions for Long and Askins for Game 3 of the series. With the Clackers in full force and the New World Symphony in play, the Heat returned to the Miami Arena and won their first home playoff game.
Miami takes a 2-1 lead. The first ever playoff win from Miami Arena.
We came down here at Game 3. We were confident we were going to win, and we won it.
It's the first chance for South Florida to celebrate with their team over a playoff win at home. It was so exciting. We were so close to experiencing what it was like to win a playoff series.
But the celebration didn't last long. In Game 4, the Heat had their first chance at winning a playoff series, but fell short to the Hawks, forcing a deciding Game 5 in Atlanta. Back in Atlanta, the Hawks prevailed, winning a hard-fought series 3-2.
That was a first taste of winning, a first taste of how hard it was to advance, and it was your life lesson of what you had to do.
We just fell short. It was a heartbreaker for us.
They broke through in a way with 2 playoff wins in that series, but the real breakthrough would have been winning that series. It was frustrating and it was sad because the Heat could have made history.